Good morning, Sunday morning conversation. And conversation is magic. I can talk my head off and say all the wonderful things, but it's the person that asks the question, that willing to look at themselves. And when the minute they start to talk, and with the intent to solve a problem, then you will see, excuse me, you will see what's wrong with him is also wrong with you. There's no difference between you. It's only the behavior that the programming, the sin is in charge of. The sin is the sin. You're subject to whatever the thing is inside you. Excuse my voice. But the program, your behavior, is the extension of it. And it can make you do anything. It can make you believe anything. Not that you are crazy here, but there are lots of crazy people in the world. It can make you murder. It can make you into a nothing. It can make you fat. It can make you a drunk. It can make you anything you want to think of, it can make you do it. Even if you can't do it, you'll keep trying to do it as if you got to do it. And then you can't stop. When you realize you're doing it and you don't want to do it, you still can't do it. You can't stop doing it. Whatever it is. That's how dangerous it is to sin. But then, we have to see the origin of it, because just to make this simple, nobody is guilty of sin. In a sense, you inherit it. That's not the same as Adam, who did it on purpose. Yeah, so you've never had a relationship with God when you were born. You have intuition, but that gets smothered. And you're lost behind that, in it somewhere. It's playing with you. But it isn't you. That's what Paul says. All the things I didn't want to do, the good things I wanted to do, I couldn't. The bad things I didn't want to do, I did. Therefore, sin wasn't me that did these things, but sin that made it home in me. That is the most important thing in the Bible. Yes.
And that's what I want to talk about. And in fact, I have two things I want to talk about. You know, I realized about, I guess it was 4 or 5, 6 months ago, I don't know exactly, that I wasn't as free as I thought I was.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what happened. I had a very strange experience at the ranch, at one of your seminars, maybe a year and a half or so ago. And I was volunteering to work in the kitchen, right? And I was in there with a knife chopping carrots or whatever I was. And I've been very reluctant to talk about this, very, very reluctant.
Fair enough.
And Charles was in there, and I'm standing there in the kitchen, and I've been cutting the carrots, and I had a knife in my hand, and all of a sudden, out of left field, out of nowhere, the thought came to me to take that knife and stick him, and I go, whoa, where did that come from?
That's right.
Now, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. And I know that it doesn't have any power. But still, it was there, and I thought, wow, that's strange.
But it could be stronger, and you did it. And it could be stronger.
Well, at one time in my life, many years ago, I did things where it was stronger, and it did that. But at that time, I thought to myself, wow, it's like, I said, that's something from, I knew it wasn't me. I knew it wasn't me. I knew it was something, and I thought to myself, that's something from another dimension. something. They don't like the way I'm holding the phone.
You're afraid to stab me with your microphone.
Something
I
from
could take
another
care of
dimension.
myself.
And then I just dismissed it. I didn't think anything more about it, right? But I heard a gentleman, I remember his name. His name was Andrew. He called you up on the radio program, on your radio program, which is, I think it's a lot easier to talk about these things on the radio program where you're
It's all right.
anonymous. But here it is. I'm gonna do it anyhow.
It's good.
So, and Andrew was talking about he called them intrusive thoughts, where he'd be walking down the street and he'd get the thought to kill somebody. And he said the same thing that I said. Well, I'd never do that. And I really identified with him. And you told him, it's there. I don't think he realized it was not him, but you pointed out to him that it was not him. And so I realized that.
But by the way, that's not an excuse. That's the truth.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I know. People. So that's the number one. And I realized, wow, that is still there. And I think that if I remember the call correctly, you talked to him. He had gotten that from women with wrong sexual relationships with women. So I've been hoping that. And I realized that it was there, and I'm not always conscious of it. Not always conscious of it.
The unconscious is very interesting.
Right. And then I've had other experiences, like I'll be driving my car, and I'll see some people walking on the side. The thought will come to you, hey, take your car and plow those people down.
Isn't that amazing?
But not me. It's not me.
No, I know.
And I know it's not me. And I'd like to be free, and that's why I'm talking about it.
Well, I think it's a good thing you did.
Yeah. And I have, I guess I will.
So
I have
next
one
time
other
it
thing.
happens, we know where to look.
Yeah. I'm really afraid. Oh, that it's like being publicly humiliated or
I'm
something.
just kidding.
Yeah.
I just want to make it lighter.
Yeah. Well, and I want to be free.
But you see what's happening in America. You're just a regular guy.
Yeah.
And who else said something about the same thing just now? Was this you?
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't anybody else who said the same thing about stabbing people.
Here?
The guy on the radio.
Oh, the guy on the radio.
Yeah, the guy on
That's
the
right.
radio. The guy on the radio.
Yeah, but you see how just a regular person, I'm a regular person, it's there. But it's the anger. So what Obama is doing is creating situations like the economy to make you feel morbid and angry, etc., etc. Any way he can. Make no-fault divorce so the woman walks away and he doesn't have any kids anymore. See, and so on and so forth. There's thousands of little things in place that slowly but surely eat away at all of you, and you feel like the whole world is no damn good and you want to kill. And it doesn't matter what it is, you want to kill. Now, I'm going to ask a question, be honest, since he's honest. How many people felt like committing suicide or killing somebody? How many people have ever? Look at it. But you're under control, I get it. But you see it's there. And it's not killing something bigger than yourself, it's always something smaller than yourself. Because the whole thing is because we're cowardly. Men have sex with little girls because they're insecure with big ones. See? It's like, there's so much to this. It's important to become perfect. Because if you don't become perfect, you become more imperfect. That's all. It slowly but surely eats away. You either go mad, or you become remorseful and insecure and think nothing of yourself or nothing to kill. So where are we going to go with this today? Anybody wants to make a comment on this? Yes, sir.
I could understand what he's talking about. I went through that myself, but it helped a lot. I mean, we've talked about before, letting the small irritations that build that rage, because it feeds off of that. But also, I tended, like little things, little considerations, I tended to let that go too, but I don't do that anymore. So that's very important too. Just, like you talk about, it's the small little things of life that we tend to excuse and not do. And that builds real character when we do that, and that voice fades away and loses power.
It's little things. Takes years and years. Because and you suppress it, the anger, the injustice, all around you. A whole country, nearly everybody, all broken. And to varying degrees, but you have a mask, a persona.
Yeah.
And on the surface, you look okay. But yes.
I would like to share this gentleman. I got it. That I also have, my thoughts are a little more, there's been a few disgusting thoughts that have come to my mind that never have they been there before. And in this last year, I've given up a lot of my vices. I used to smoke, I drank, and I gambled. And I've given all those. So now what happens is the devil doesn't have power over me that way. So he has to slip in any way he can. So if he can bring a dark thought to our mind and have us give it any kind of attention, he's working overtime now on all of us who have the light.
Say it again.
The devil.
You're too close to the microphone. It's distorted.
The devil works overtime now for us because there's a light inside of us.
That's right. It won't.
And for Ted to be able to see that, don't be sad that you see that. Don't be sad because you know what? You are stronger than the devil, and he's doing everything he can.
You are not, but the light inside you.
Yes.
It's you.
Yes.
You see, you can't do anything. Jesus says, "I can of myself, I can do nothing."
Right. And I feel helpless, like I can do nothing.
It's
Like-
okay.
Like, if God doesn't help me, I'm screwed.
Yes, but
Excuse me for putting it away.
What stopped you is that light, and what it makes you honest is the unusual admission that you just made, and I think you're clear of it now. Because everybody dies tomorrow, we come looking for you. Just kidding. Got to make it
I
light.
mean, that's it, just to talk about?
Yeah.
Is
They're
that
talking about it. You got to get it.
Yeah. That's it?
My wife has dementia, but she's got it because she keeps lots of angers a secret. And never speak up and say, "Did you do that?" No, she doesn't want to know. She wants to believe that I did something when I didn't. And I'm looking at women when I'm not.
Can I go on to the, can I
See?
go on to the second thing?
Yeah. But it comes in little things and
Yeah.
secret lives, secret thoughts.
This is the second thing, and it's, at least to my mind, it's not as bad as that, but it's something I think I should be free of, but I'm not free of. And I had my dad, when I was young, my mom was cruel to me. My mom was physically abusive, but generally speaking, my dad wasn't, right? And she kept it secret from him, did it when he wasn't around, that sort of thing.
But you never told your dad.
I did at the end of his life, but he wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's too late.
He thought I was lying.
Yeah.
He wouldn't.
Yeah, you should have be forthcoming. Because that's
Well,
what-
I think I've talked about that before, but the worst time my mom abused, well, there were multiple times, But the worst time she abused me, my dad came home and my mom got to him first and said the kids have been bad today,
Oh, of
and he
course.
sent me into the bedroom to punish me. I mean, so how could I talk to him? I just was in my room.
No, I got it.
Hated. How could I go? How could I? I was being punished and I'd done nothing. And when I was just filled with a rage towards
Isn't
him.
it amazing how cruel people are? The nicest people, cruel.
But
Oh,
ahead.
sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I had something always in me that I never wanted to give up my life, and I never wanted to give up. But what I was fighting with was illiterate, maybe ill-educated judges,
Say that again.
illiterate, uneducated judges. I mean, they
What
were
was the last word?
illiterate
No, judge?
judges,
Judging.
judicial system,
Judging.
judging.
Yes. Yes.
And pre-assuming, and I'm still trying to figure it out, and I can't go there too many times because it stresses me out, but I was told, don't do this, don't do that, court order this, court order that. It was just so overwhelming that I ended up doing things that I wouldn't normally do under a very strong judge or a very honest judge.
You're
a very
speaking about the judge
intelligent-
inside you or the judgment outside
the
you?
judgments outside of my life.
Yes.
And I look back and I say, gosh, I
But is
wasn't
that
such a bad kid.
Are you saying that in a legal sense?
Legal judges.
Yes, okay.
So I was up against them for 8 years. It's been 8 years, a little over now. And I'm okay with myself because I know that God knows the truth. And my
Yes.
friends and families, my friends and family know the truth. So I don't fight it anymore. I become now offensive because to be able to show who I truly am, I'm not going to be defensive anymore. I'm not going to fight because I know what is true. I know who I am.
Yeah, the denial
Inside.
is the sickness, isn't it? The denial, the persona, the face you put on.
Well, I'm frustrated because I ended up doing things when I was told not to, and I rebelled.
You rebel against it. But what was the original reason why you were involved with the law?
It was a very under guideline disomaster figuration or whatever of what I received for child support.
I'm not understanding that.
It was a divorce that I went through.
Or divorce, and then you did some lying.
No, I did some, honest to God, I did some truth. I said the truth.
But they didn't believe you.
No.
It-
It was like I told them everything that I had on paper, evidence, proof of my marriage prior to me filing for divorce. Nothing was going right. Nothing was to even guideline. Nothing was even thought of, even with proof.
Yeah, this is a good place to stop and ponder.
Okay.
Because if
But I
you are
rebelled.
off 1/10000000th of a fraction, it means it multiplies and nothing goes wrong. The smallest dishonesty, the smallest, no matter what, begins to grow. But the smallest dishonesty sets you on a path where nothing works out. And if it does, you get whoopee whoopee, but it's
I
the
couldn't
fact that you
win
get
for losing.
excited, you see, thinking you're on the right track when you're on the wrong one is reinforcing the wrong track. Because sometimes it does work as a fluke. And all of a sudden you get a confidence in the fluke. If you know what I'm trying to say.
I take responsibility for anything that I've done.
Yes.
And I stepped up to the plate. And I expressed full-heartedly, and I apologized profusely. But when I did that, it felt like, okay, so if I've made my amends, or I've stepped up to the plate,
Okay.
or I've made things better, then what?
Well, it seems like you're saying it but not admitting it. I don't know what you're saying. I'm not quite sure. You seem so confident right this minute. So as you're talking, I'm not getting a sense of it. Try again. Just say it a little differently.
Okay. For going through many trials and tribulations
Okay.
through my divorce,
How do you handle trials and tribulations?
pretty darn good, I feel.
In other words, you didn't let it bother you?
I did.
You let it bother you?
After several years of being told or being
Ordered?
misinterpreted or ordered
Yes.
or told not to do certain things, I
Give me
was
that.
in
Give me
denial.
that something that you were ordered not to do but did.
Okay, don't drink alcohol.
Oh, well, that's reasonable. But you can't stop that.
And I said, well, once in a while is okay, right? As long as I make good decisions and I'm not driving, I'm not making bad decisions, or I stop myself, or I have enough. Know when to hold them, know when to fold them, right?
But you still drank. In other words,
Because I was told not to, I did more.
Yeah, of course.
Not in the beginning, but when I was told not to, and the court order was placed on me, don't do this, don't do this. Don't. And I said,
Yeah.
I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it more.
You can't stop.
So what is that? Where does that come from? The denial.
It's
Or,
it is
rebellion.
it's the hatred towards the judge, and the resentment of being told what to do. Now, for
Okay,
example,
that's what I'm trying to get at then.
let me see if I can
core
make
of it.
You and I friends,
Yes,
and you're here for help, right?
yes.
So, I'm not the judge. I'm not going to tell you not to drink, because who am I to tell you? I know the judge is he has to do what he has to do, but that's part of his job. So if you rebel, you create a bigger problem and you go to jail. And then you come out of jail and then say, but now don't do it again. But then you do it again because you want to be you. You don't like anybody telling you what to do. Nobody likes anybody telling them what to do. And if you like it, I don't know what kind of person you are. So you got the two choices, and they're both bad.
Well, as a judge, I didn't trust. I trust you. I didn't trust the judge.
No.
Because of my research, because of my personal stance in the way beginning, that I was clear-headed. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't doing a lot of things that I ended up doing. Once he made that court order, I rebelled and did it worse.
You are.
Yeah, of course.
And I didn't have any probable cause.
But you want
I-
But you want freedom. But you shouldn't be
I guess-
judging any. If the judge said, but see, it's how it's said, because that's tied
Probably,
into the
yeah.
way your parents talk to you.
Yes,
See
you're
that?
right.
And so it triggers it. He says it.
Defensive-ness.
So you
know.
could say, Your Honor, you're talking to me this way. I do appreciate you helping me, but if you talk to me with that authority, it sounds like my father or my mother. And it almost wants me to make.
Probably
And you
so.
could give the judge a little lesson.
Yeah, that's absolutely a great way to
You
put that.
could handle it that way.
Why did you, Judge? I'll practice. Why did you honor me $200 spousal support of a 16-year marriage, Judge? And I got denied twice by you.
Well, you see, there is a way of dealing with it, being outspoken to the judge.
Yeah.
With Judge, Your Honor, with all respect, I have not been drinking, but all of a sudden you think I have been, and I haven't been. And what is inside me is I want to rebel towards you. See? And with all due respect, Your Honor, I'm sure it's happening to other people who you tell them not to do, and they rebel, and they want freedom. I know we can't have freedom because we've got a little problem here. But drinking, I don't. See? So all of a sudden, you've made me into a drunk. I can't help myself. I mean, but it doesn't occur to you to say it that way, because you're sitting there trembling in front of him because not knowing what he's going to say next. But that's politically correct. That's a sort of form of political correctness. See, that you're gonna take it, not say anything, but on the sly you're gonna do it. It's always good.
I was angry with him.
Angry
And now he's off
with
the bench.
Yeah, you're angry with the
And
judge.
I felt like, you're not doing your job. You're not really serving justice. You're
But
not really...
but the thing is, judges can't tell. They don't know everything, and they also have their imperfections. That's why we need judges. But the judges themselves are often criminal, especially these days. There is no, in America, generally speaking, there is no justice.
That's how I feel.
They own the judges. So I know some mafia people we hire, in a manner of speaking,
Yeah.
because they know they buy the judges. But what more have we got? What choice do you have?
I know.
But he's
Can't
not a
control
judge,
it.
he's an attorney. I know that it's a big name. And we hired him to do some work. And he's working.
Unlawfully.
He's working. He knows how to play with the judges.
Oh, I know you're talking
The point
about.
is, we're innocent, but what we got? We need a judge like that. We need a person an attorney like that, who knows how all these things, because you're not going to get any judgment, any proper judgment anyway.
Right. I agree with you.
Now they're going to come after me and say, "Who's that?"
That's Mr. Roy Masters.
It's mind your own business.
What you guys are talking about?
You brought up an interesting discussion.
Yeah, you're talking about me, both of you, and it's about that voice talking to me, the dark side, the liar. And when I realized I can't fight with it and should not,
What does it say to you?
all kinds of things, like to stab
It
somebody,
accuses you
or
of
jump
being
the
a
judge
liar?
and slap the judge. Bingo. We got a spiritual problem here.
Yeah, that makes a good title for a book.
We got a
Slap the
problem.
judge.
And the rebellion, you see. As soon as I'm angry, upset.
Rebelling and conforming are dangerous.
That's right.
Rebelling and
Right.
conforming are the same sin.
Forgive them, they know not what they do. I didn't even know what I was doing, you see, until I looked at myself. It was my reaction was a problem. It wasn't them. It was my reaction was the problem.
I know.
And I was being controlled by the dark side.
You react against injustice.
Right, with anger, resentment, fear.
But can you imagine Jesus reacting to injustice? No.
He's amazing.
The magic of Jesus is that Pontius Pilate, talked to him, and he didn't say much. And he kept his peace, the demeanor. It embarrassed, was it Pontius Pilate? Yes. And Pontius Pilate began to see that he was an honest man, and he wanted to release him. But Jesus had a relationship with his Creator to go to the cross and sacrifice himself. And it puzzled. You could see in even all the movies, you can't help it. It's sort of put into the script. You can't help it. You see that he didn't get out of it, even though he could. He found no fault in him, so he sent it to Herod. Is that was correct? I think that's where it was. He wouldn't judge him because of his demeanor. Never mind all the lies, all the things, even that Roman potentate actually was influenced by that. So it's the same sense if you are standing before a judge and you're guilty, of course, it's best to say, I'm guilty. You'll be surprised. But if you're not guilty, it's a different story. But if you are guilty of something, say, Your Honor, You just say it. Why fight it?
But
But he's going to know you're lying.
when you actually are not, and you're speaking the truth, and then you become guilty, and you admit that you are guilty, or saying, I'm gravitating to what you've ordered, it doesn't make sense, but then I'm rebelling against what you're saying because you don't really know all the facts. You don't know the truth. Or you don't know, you're listening to one side and not both.
What the judge is looking for
Or maybe he's not looking.
is a repentant heart. If it's a decent judge. He says, you know, I'm not fighting this, Your Honor, because I've been angry a lot. You see, and I lost my cool. Your Honor, you know, I'm sure you had the same experience. See?
Yes.
There's a way of talking about this.
And if I was taught to say it like that, I would have been calmer.
Well, yes, it's
Right.
all, but life is all a matter of. I've been in jail once, and well, you know how the media talks about me. It's 50 years of that, because they know I'm a very dangerous person. I'm dangerous to wickedness, and there's lots of wickedness, and so. I'll tell you a little story and how I handled it, because I don't know what's going to happen next, but I had the Institute of Hypnosis. My interest was, in case you didn't hear the story, the people listening on the videos may have never heard me say these things, but it's worth saying. I'm a very determined individual. I do not like injustice, but I don't hate it. That's the difference. I will experience injustice justly. So it is what it is. So I'm as innocent as the day is long. The accusation was that I opened the Institute of Hypnosis as a result of many years of which the reason why I was interested in hypnosis, because I thought to myself, are the German people really evil? Were they born that way? And I came to the conclusion they weren't, that somehow they were made that way. See, and it became a pandemic of madness, see, and it couldn't be stopped. And it's happening here, and I'm trying to stop it. And I don't have enough voice. But the media, being left-wing scumbags, see, have brought us to this state. And I was caught early. So I spent six years in the Institute of Hypnosis trying to see, how is this? What is hypnosis? How does Hitler do these things? How do tyrants get away with murder? And, you know, like millions of people murdered. Not just one person, but they deal in millions. Hundreds of thousands, millions. Create camps and kill little children, gas them, burn them, take their gold out of their teeth, and like it was a place where you kill cows and distribute their parts. Evil is so wicked, but were the German people born that way? No. How did they get to it? But I found out. The reason why I help you is because I know what it is. But as the story goes, I get two detectives come in and saying, you're practicing medicine without a license. What it was is I've been working 6 years, but I was helping so many people, the psychiatrist didn't have any business. That's what I didn't have any business. I had it all. I was doing good. I had fathomed the secret. And I made a record, and I put 1,000 of them in my trailer and came to California eventually. But sooner or later, they caught up with me. The medical society, they just made a case. That was headlines in the news. And so a shyster lawyer, never involved with the law before, came in and mismanaged everything. So I go to jail. Basically, the person that came in was a patient of a psychiatrist. He was mentally ill, but he's got better. So they used him. They put him in a hypnotic state so I couldn't hypnotize him. That's what they did, because they understand that. And so he came in and said, I'm drinking, I have a problem. So it was very simple. I said, your father's a drunk? Yes. I said, well, you could take marijuana and think you're okay because you're not drinking alcohol, but you're just like him. And so you have anxiety, and the way you get rid of anxiety is to do the same thing as he did to get rid of the anxiety. You drink. And you get rid of the anxiety, but you're not going to get any better. You're going to get worse, because once you use the wrong solution, you're just blocking your ability to receive real help from within you. But anyway, my lawyer was a shyster, and I had to go to jail for 30 days. Okay, it's a little awkward. I had 4 kids. It's not easy, right? But I started my business over there. But this is what happened. I'm who I am. And so as who I am came into the tank where all the criminals are. And the Dead Sea parted. In other words, they were afraid. They felt my presence. And then I began teaching and helping pedophiles, all kinds of people and the headline said, hypnotist practices spells in cells. And people were bringing their children to the gates of the prison for me to help them. It was.
You turned it around.
Yeah, I turned on the alarm as if somebody was escaping in the elevator, and with a nice innocent face, created all kinds of little problems. But the point is, I helped half of those men in the jail. And I wouldn't stop. In other words, I was doing exactly what I was punished for doing right there. So the warden calls me in. He says, Roy, this is political, you know that. Yes, I know. He said, you have to stop. I said, no, I'm not. I want to help people. There's no law against helping people. See?
That's beautiful.
See that? So he let me off for 10 days for good behavior. So I wasn't finished. Now, I'm not angry or rebellious, but still, those people who did that need to be stopped, because that's not honest. It was all a lark. The person that came in was a patient of a psychiatrist, and he's supposed to write, release on paper. I'm not practicing medicine. See, I'm not practicing psychiatry. I'm just trying to help people with something I've just brand new. Anyway, so he's a big guy, about 300 pounds. So they made him what they call Better Business Bureau. So he suspended my license. They made him chief cook and bottle washer. and suspended my license to do business. So I took up photography and went from door to door. I made some nice pictures and had a good living. You're not going to stop me. I know how to do it with an expensive camera. A Sears Roebuck enlarger for $25. And I know how to do that. Make a good picture, enlarge it, be businesslike, go from door to door. I did all that. But meanwhile, lunchtime, I want you to imagine this. The building was designed like a pyramid. It came to a point, but it was a square point, and you go up the elevator to the Better Business Bureau. All right, he was there. So for 6 months, there's a restaurant on one side. You have to pass it to go to his office, and I sit there having sandwich every day for 5 or 6 months, and he could see me sit there. And what was I doing? I was intimidating him. I had pretended not to see him, but he always saw me. Okay? And so he's got guilt. And so when I thought he was ripe, see, remember, I understand my business. I know how to intimidate people without doing anything, just having a sandwich. He got guiltier and guiltier. So when the time came, I get on the elevator, go up, talk to the secretary. I'd like to see Mr. McGeggy, I forget his name. Okay, and he says, she picks up the phone. Mr. Masters is here. He just wants to speak with you. I just want my license back, right? That was like Popeye and Brutus. And he came out. I said, tell this man he's a coward. All I want to do is talk with him. Mr. Master says you're a coward. And you won't talk with him. So he does the opposite. He comes out and talks with me. And he said, is this tall? I'm calm. I own him. I said, what's in your head? You do it. And now he's in a hypnotic state. He doesn't know it. And so the impulse to hit me was expressed by running out and never being seen again. Then the new people took place. I went there and said, this is what happened. I'd like to have my license back again. And I got it back. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I'd do it to you.
That's right.
But it didn't finish there. I called the psychiatrist. I said, you hypnotized him against being hypnotized, didn't you? So but my lawyer didn't discover that. I knew it. So he's a bit silent. I said, how would you like for me to hypnotize a girl, a nice young lady, and you take her as a client, and in the middle of your discussion, she screams, rape. How would you like, you know I can do this, don't you? I'm saying this to show you what hypnosis is, how wicked it is. I'm not proud of that, you understand? I'm just telling the story because I need a weapon. And hypnosis is a weapon. It's never any good. But it's okay on an enemy. Follow that? Our soldiers come back hypnotized, called post-traumatic stress disorder. I know how to fix that. I've learned, so my experience is learning that hypnosis, what it is They go to the front. They're civilized people. They've never seen anything so horrible before. They get so angry and frustrated, they bring home the enemy. And the rest of the story, I don't want to say. That's why they kill themselves, because they can't stop. There's something that gets inside them that wants to kill the enemy, but it can't, so it's got to kill something. There it is. And it's got to kill. And it's got to kill the innocent, because there it is, the innocent. They won't, you can't kill the enemy. You can't find the enemy. You're in hospital. So you always, if you're a coward, you'll always find something weaker than yourself. Doing unto others doing unto others, what does the scripture say?
Do unto you.
No, it says, I've got to find it. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But in your angry state, you do unto others as was done unto you, but you can't do it to something bigger. You have to do it to something smaller. See that? But I'm a master of all that. And so I said, what would it be like if I did that? But don't worry. I have honor. I would do that to you. But you see, he didn't believe me. I wanted him to disbelieve me. That's also hypnosis. So you can see the trepidation that will follow for years to come. He never knows what's going to happen. He thought I meant it. I didn't. Do you see that?
Reverse psychology.
It's just, yes. I could play with a person's mind, but the point is, I'm very good at it. But it's not good, if you understand what I mean. I've turned it into something good by sharing this with you. That if you get angry with me and you piss me off, pardon the expression, I can do nothing, but nearly all the times I do nothing, I just let it go. But there's a time where you have to take a stand. There's a time when it, bang, you got to do it. Oh.
Where's your boxing gloves?
With that, you were hitting yourself.
Like what Ted was saying,
He's laughing.
I want to find out about why I was so open and willingness to say, hey, you know, Mom or Dad, don't do this, or I feel this way. And I'm comfortable of saying that. Is that just because of my personality or who I am inside? Why couldn't Ted speak up to his mom? I mean, was it a certain age?
Speak a little slower, because
Okay.
he's too.
Sorry.
I'm getting old.
It's okay. What I was trying to say or express to you or ask you the
Yes,
question,
please. Yeah.
what Ted was saying earlier is he couldn't speak up to his mother or his father,
Is
right?
it? What are you saying?
You were angry when you got in trouble?
What are you saying?
Well, he was angry as a child when his mother would blame things on him.
Is that correct?
No, I was angry when she beat the snot out of me.
You're angry because of what?
Or she
Because
had,
she beat the snot out of me.
Oh, yes. She's cruel.
You should just say crap and everybody will know.
okay. Whether he felt that he was wrong or right, she still beat him up. Blamed him.
But
No.
you see, what you see today in America is exactly that. Parents bullying their children. They can't help it. They just can't help it. And they can do it because who sees it? Nobody. Is the kid going to complain to the judge? No. 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 10-year-old. Can he go to somewhere for help? No. So they grow up to be killers. That's it. They've got to kill something.
Evil gets planted in them.
It gets multiplies. What happens? It begins, but it multiplies because you start to be sensitive to everything that's cruel. So you can see it happening to somebody else, and you get angry with that, but it hasn't happened to you. You could have somebody who looks like your mother and behave and sort of has a look like her, or your father had a belt, and so the person who was wearing the belt is a nice man, but he's wearing the same belt, so you're reacting to the belt as if it was him. And so there's no harm, but it still reinforces.
Yeah, now that, can I, do you mind? if I-
Absolutely. Speak up.
I want to go on to the second thing I was talking about. I said there was two things.
Yes?
First, this is the second one. Now, I had in general, my dad was not cruel to me. In general, he wasn't.
Why didn't he sort of regulate your mother?
I don't think he knew what was going on, and he didn't want to know.
In other words, he's an appeaser.
Right.
He has his piece.
Exactly so.
So he's a appeaser.
That's how he didn't.
Well, that's not a good man.
Well, yeah.
You think she can get away with anything? No.
Yeah. I think my dad did the best he could do, but he was very broken. He had.
I know.
My dad had a deep-seated hatred towards his own father that he went to the grave with. He never forgave him. His dad abandoned him during the Depression, and he hated him.
He wants to be a good person, and he overdoes it. He becomes a weak person.
Right.
And he lets things go because he doesn't
But
want to create
now-
trouble.
If I could. So there was one time when my dad was cruel to me, and this is what happened. And there's a reason why I mention it. My dad was a square dance caller that does square dance calling, right? And
That's a very noble,
no, it was like
very noble man.
no, it was like a hobby for him. It was he was a television repairman.
I thought he was this.
But so when I was about, I'm guessing I was probably about 12 years old, they decided he was teaching these square dance classes, and he wanted all the kids to go to these square dance classes. I didn't want to go. I said, I don't want to do that. We were riding in the car, and he was telling me that I guess it was just me and my mom. I don't know if my brother was there or not. But they were saying you guys are gonna do this, and I said, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go. I didn't want to do it, right? He told my mom. He said, stop the car, pull the car over the side of the road. Said, get out of the car, and he.
How old were you?
I'm guessing I don't know exactly, 10,
Roughly.
11, 12,
Yeah,
something
fair
like
enough.
that. So he picked up a stick and started whacking me on the leg, saying, when I say dance, dance, you're going to dance. You know what? It was cruel, right? So and they forced me to go attend square dance classes.
What you just said is cruelty to a child who has a sense of worth. And a child is not a dog. So you could beat a dog and it will whisper or it will attack you. But chances are, if you feed it, it won't attack you. It'll just cringe, see. But it doesn't have any sense of right and wrong. So a mother dog is a mother dog, and a mother cow is a mummy cow for its offspring. It stays close. The calf is not in conflict with its mama. And none of them are. The dogs, the cats, you name it. They naturally attach to obedience. And if they didn't, they would perish. It's natural. Human beings are the same thing. The baby is attached to the mother and very suggestible. And so the faults of the mother, right into the kid. Right away. You don't have a chance. Through one man, sin, and death through sin spread like a pandemic through the human race. You're born into the culture, but the culture is only a behavior. It's a various behavior of the same thing. In other words, every man is born into sin, meaning into the culture. In other words, Eve controls Adam. Eve has always controlled Adam. Now, in the extreme, with ISIS, they make sure the danger of a woman is no longer dangerous, but they have to be dangerous to them. See, women are weaker, but they're much more cunning. They have an Eve of faculty. And the man, like Adam, subject to it. So men are born subject to women. That's why you can't have happiness. It doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist. And even in a good woman, does she know what kind of man this is? All of a sudden he finds she marries him and doesn't see what's lying latent within him. So she does something wrong or takes advantage of something naturally because the Eve is there. Eve is always there in every woman. There's no exception. And the weakness of a man, the subjectivity of a man to women, so shall a man leave his mother and father and be bonded to the woman in one flesh. That makes him a baby. That makes him her child. So you're marrying your mother, basically. You're attracted to what's in the mother. And so whatever disposition you have, if you've been beaten by your mother, you would probably want to beat your mother, beat your wife or your girlfriend. Or you make up your mind, I'm not going to be like my mom. I'm not going to be mean like them. I'm going to be the nicest man in the world. So he appeases her and emboldens her wickedness. He goes along to get along. He's politically correct. See that? And so all the misery in the world, it requires men to be men. And the reason why you have trouble in America and murder and crime is because, simple, they know, even if they don't know the Bible, they know it by the instinct, the stinking instinct, if you know what I mean. The instinct to sit on the doorstep of the woman and make a man's life difficult until he becomes violent or submissive. And either way, the children are ruined again. And the next generation multiplies. So in about 3 or 4 generations, you have murder and mayhem, broken homes, and no father. The father is worse off, he's dying from this or that.
Roy, can I say something?
Yes?
I came here with my husband today.
Hello.
Tom. And,
Have we never met before, have
I
we?
think you met him once or twice.
But how did you become so ugly?
I know. I'm Irish.
I'm just kidding. That's dealing with her, is it?
It is. It probably is. Lately I was talking to you, we were talking about adopting this child, and then...
I didn't really mean it.
And then you had said, well, your husband's weak, and,
Is your husband weak?
and I am the way I am. And when Ted was talking
Well, she's a
about
handful.
how cruel his mother was to him,
Yeah.
my mother did the same thing to me with my father, and all that, telling him we did stuff when he came home and
Yes.
all the same thing. But because I'm a woman, I have my mother in me. I have that mean thing in me exactly like her. And so...
And he doesn't know how to deal with it.
He doesn't. He doesn't even
I
understand
know that.
it.
I can see it from a distance.
Yeah.
And I'm not a woman.
And I've been seeing, I have all this heaviness in me all the time, this negativity, but it's my mother's spirit that I have.
Always, it's not your father's spirit. It's even for the boys, always mother's spirit. But the trouble is you got this equal stuff, the feminist thing.
Mm-hmm.
Women are better than men, and women are frail and weak. No, they're not.
No.
They're strong with
No,
dark side
with
of the
King Kong
force.
with bloomers,
They know how
whatever
to
you say.
seduce you and make you feel like nothing. Right?
You always say that King Kong with bloomers, and I feel
King
like,
Kong with
and I
bloomers.
feel like I'm getting bigger and he's getting smaller.
It ain't funny. It's funny, but it isn't funny.
No, so I don't know if there's
Now,
anything to be done.
what church would you go to have this kind of... This is preaching.
But I have that heavy spirit in me, and I know it drives him crazy because he doesn't know what to do with it. And I just wanted to say it out loud, too.
How about a good punch in the face?
He probably feels like doing that.
It will work. But you see, you can't dare touch a woman, she's sacrosanct.
Mm-hmm.
Or she, listen, I feel sometimes I want to knock her head off.
I still have it.
It's unbelievable. It's over and over again.
I have to say something.
So you tend to get worse because he emboldens the worse.
Yeah,
But it's easy. You expect something for him. Please stop me.
yeah.
You and women are saying to men, "Please stop me." They're
Yeah.
not saying it out loud. They're not using those words.
Yeah, the other day I was going on and on about something, and because we were discussing the adoption, and I was going on, and he started to leave the room, and I could see he was, and I said, "Tom, you need to stop me. You need to tell me to stop, because I'll just keep going, like that."
And you'd listen. And
I
you would listen.
if he would tell me.
Yeah, but you're
But
easy.
you tell me to stop, and I stop.
I'm not married to you, and she stops.
Sometimes he has to yell really loud, but I stop.
You see the magic. Yes, do you want to say something?
Well, a lot of times, I think it's because of my personal actions that
Reactions.
Well, actions like
They're reactions.
okay, reactions.
There's a big
like,
difference.
Getting a little tense that I get mad at what she's saying. Yeah,
But that is the problem.
But on the other hand, I try to help her by sticking up for myself and saying
What does that mean?
how
What does it mean to stand up for yourself?
well, just to keep with the way I feel about
No,
things.
just stop there. Excuse me, Mary. You're talking too much. Shut up. Okay, you're making too many freaking excuses. Shut up, would you please? I've asked you nicely before, not now. Stop. Now, hasn't worked on her yet, though. No, the reason is she knows I won't hurt her. So what do I do about that? She knows I will not hurt her. You ask her. 46 years of marriage, all kinds of tricks and stupid things. And I would be very firm. And she'd sort of throw it away because I don't want to use force. But there's a time for it. I hate to put it that way. The trouble is you're out with the judge now. And there's the encouragement. What she needs is a slap face. That's what she needs. She can slap your face and get away with it, but you can't slap her face because she's sacrosanct. She is a queen. You don't do that, even when they need it. I'm sorry to put it that. So the women take advantage of that, and because you don't want to lose your family, you don't want a divorce, but you're going to get one. They set it up so you will get one, and so they have the politicos, sitting on the doorstep. Politicians sitting on the doorstep, so to speak, making sure you don't touch her. And she gets away with everything. And you get angry and run away. Man gets angry, run away, he runs with other women. It's the same old thing. But this time doesn't marry her and he beats her up. There's no divorce. You just beat her up, walk away, etc., etc. Or you stay there and you keep beating her up and she doesn't know what to do. She thinks she's guilty. And she's guilty of hating the man that's beating her up. But she doesn't know why he's beating her up because she doesn't know what the problem is. Oh, she's giving him plenty of sex, but he's becoming stronger and stronger, needier and needier and needier and needier. And she can't say no or no anymore. She can't do that anymore. And then but all of a sudden you hear a story about how cutting somebody's throat and blowing his brains out because she doesn't know how what to do any other way. Who's getting the point? It's not going to stop in this country unless we understand ourselves.
I just wanted to just say just now that, I'm sorry, guys.
Can you stand up so I can see that beautiful face? You're a nice lady.
I am.
You are a nice lady. Honest.
I just found the source of all my wickedness. It's Eve.
It's not even Eve. Eve is a person.
I know
it's
that,
the
but-
darkness of Eve. It's the darkness. It's the thing.
So deep and long, and I've been
Come out.
so
Come out.
mean.
Someone stand next to her, please, if she falls over.
I'm not gonna fall over. That thing is not gonna win.
Don't fight it.
Okay.
Don't fight it. Don't fight it. Don't fight it. No, just know that it's there. Just know that it isn't you. It's not you. Don't fight it. No, don't fight it. It wants you to fight it. It wants you to fight it. That's why it gets into you.
It's in there.
I know it's in there.
But it's like wrapped around my spine. It's been so deep there.
Hey, look at this. Step forward. No, this is 2 pieces of wood. You know what these 2 pieces of wood are for? They're ordinary pieces of wood, but there's a symbol. A symbol of what? A symbol of the destruction of the devil, the destruction of the dark side of the force in any person. That's what it means. Let me touch you with it. Because the dark side in you is...
It was so mean. It was so mean.
But they couldn't help themselves. You see, because you've got them in you, and you're just as bad as them.
There's a whole bunch of them in there.
A whole bunch? Come out.
Yeah.
Out. Out.
I don't want to hurt any more people.
No,
Oh my
no,
God, I don't want to hurt any more people.
Then don't.
Okay.
I command you to come. You can't touch me. You can't touch me. You can't touch me.
No.
No, you can't. But I can touch you.
Okay, wait, I want to calm down for a second. Okay.
This. You know how you get conditioned to things when they hurt you?
Yes.
It hurts the dark side inside you. You see this? It knows it's been defeated. It's being reminded it's being defeated.
Oh, she's so angry.
But you believe in Jesus, don't you?
Yes.
Then you get better.
I am better.
Yeah, you are going to
It's
get
just still there. That was so mean.
Let's come up. Up. Come on, it's finished. It's finished. It's finished. It's dead. It was never alive. You gave it without realizing you gave life to it by being angry. It never had a life. It took your life and acted through you. It's not you. It's not you. If you don't shut up, I'll do that to you. You'll be all right. You'll be all right.
Should I just go sit down?
Did you say you take your corsets off? What did you say? What did it say? I'm making fun of it. I'm not afraid of you.
No, I'm not afraid.
And you're not afraid either.
I'm not afraid.
No, you have what I have.
I do.
You have what I have inside you.
I do.
You have inside you. You'll be all right.
Okay.
Calm down.
Okay.
Calm. She'll be all right. It's been a long time.
I'll go sit down.
You sit down.
Okay.
I'm listening.
I wanted to finish the thing about...
You notice how I enjoy making fun of the dark side of the force. It has no power. You give it power by struggle. You give it power by judging other people's judgment. You just have to be cool. Like me. Right?
What? Yes. Be nice
You could be
like-
10 feet tall and it couldn't touch me.
No, I understand that. It's just still there.
I wanted to finish the thing about being, when my dad took me out of the car and beat me. He didn't beat me. He hit me with a stick and forced me to dance.
That's not such a big deal, though.
No, it's not such a big deal. But I know. But I just want to talk about this because you're right. It isn't. But here's something I notice about myself. So sometimes I go up to Roseburg and I come back and there's a long highway in between there, right? And there's no bathrooms on the.
You're going to knock her head off in a minute.
There's no bathrooms on the long stretches of the highway.
And she needed an exorcism.
So sometimes I pull off the freeway, in a rural area there where there's nobody around. I'll pull off the car to urinate. I don't know how else to say it, right? And I'll get outside the car, and there I am. There's the car. There's the side of the road, just like when my dad hit me with the stick. And I'll be there. And every time I do that, that memory comes back to me, and it's like I get this feeling of deja vu. Like
This is a really interesting reinforcement of the hypnotic state. So he gets out of the car, and he piddles on the side of the road, and all of a sudden, the program is reinforced. I never heard that one before, but it's that sensitive. It's that sensitive. I'm glad you brought it up.
so I
Just
sort of,
taking a leak created a problem.
yeah. So I
Reinforced the
I
problem.
sort of feel like those memories shouldn't come back to me that way. That I should be like just fresh and in the moment.
I know. But it is funny. It's serious, but it's funny.
I'm sorry.
I'm glad you're saying all that.
Oh, okay. So
It's all disappeared as you talk about it and have fun.
Oh,
with
okay.
it.
All right.
It's
So
heavy. It's
That's
okay.
it. That's all I got.
Oh, I have a question.
I can see you enjoying yourself.
Yeah. What I hear is my experience, and I went through a lot of this, for a long time, and the monster would not let go. And the only thing was the meditation to understand of myself, not to fight it, be still. My Father will deal with you, and do whatever you need was going to happen. And I had to do that continually. And I thought it was gone, it wasn't, and I was adding to it, and I didn't know it, but I stayed with it, stay with it. And in time, and then all of a sudden, after, it was quite a few years actually. Then it finally showed its head. And just here lately in the last 6 months, it's whimpering. But it will quiet right down and get nice, and I think I'm doing fine. And it's not. Stay with the meditation. But the intent.
Try thinking like this. Your dad is not your dad.
Yeah. Right, exactly. Yes, very important.
Your dad is like, it's nice if you had a good dad. That makes it easier. But there are very few good dads.
Right.
They're just addicted to women.
Well, Jesus.
And misery goes to the next generation.
Right. A
That's
condition with Jesus. He's the only one that beat evil. And I know that's true. When you said that, it hit me, the truth, right in my heart. He's the only one that overcome evil, has power over it, for he is in him and he is in him.
But he makes a point.
Yeah.
And God doesn't send a woman to do a man's job.
That's right.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So the Bible says it, if I can remember it, that iniquity increases, but so does virtue. So you see, as the world gets worse and worse and worse, you either get worse and worse with it, or you take the trials and tribulation and make you a better person by not reacting to it. Recognizing that you stood in their shoes once.
It's
and
grace.
you're not anymore, so you can let it go because they don't forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do.
And it's all grace
It's all
of myself.
simple.
It's got to be
But
grace.
realizing it, because you're capable of realizing it to such a degree that it really happens. See? And so the reason why I can help you is I live that life. If I didn't live that life, I could not help you. My voice would not be listen, a bit of sore voice right now, but it's still there. What is in me speaks to you and makes you laugh. It doesn't make you cry. And if you cry, you cry it out. So you have to be, I don't usually make funny Sunday morning conversations. This is a Lulu. I'm enjoying this because you've all agreed to join in to express yourself, beginning with him, right? And so you could actually discuss your problems and make light of it. And so it lifts. And so if I have connected to my Creator, then I can be your dad who's holding office. See, Dad is not in his office. Something else is. And the President of the United States, he has an office, but he's got a dark thing in the office. It's not a man. I don't know what it is, but it's mostly a woman. And a communist woman and a Muslim woman all wrapped into one. You can't find anything much worse and much more cunning than that. See, so, but the trouble is, he's got power over you. And you've got to be very careful because he's set in motion misery. All kinds of misery, creating problems and then solving the problems in a way that they get worse. The cure is worse than the disease. And then right, now you're all diseased and you're broken and you're open to him because he's got into you. Because you're getting into each other, it's not much different. It's not difficult for him to get into everybody who's got into each other. And you're decent people here. But look at you. You're decent people. Every one of you is decent. But look at the trials and tribulations that are going on inside your head. See, that can all go away just like that. You don't have to spend a whole lot of time. Just realize of myself I can do nothing and see when people are mean. See, the President of the United States is who we deserve. You got the wife you deserve. See, because now you got the politician you deserve, the tyrant. You deserve it because you're so imperfect. you can't help but be influenced by him. You can, if you hate him, that doesn't help. You only make you look stupid. If you love him, and you get worse anyway. You can't win this. You got to learn to recognize that he can't help himself either. He is programmed, broken human being. But if you look at all the potentates in the world, they're either really stupid, and we're stupid people elect stupid people. And appeasers will elect those who love appeasers, who play up to appeasers. So you love the appeaser, who's your president. He's an appeaser. He knows how to piss you off and then love you. See, and then give you stuff and reward you for your loyalty, for loving him. And all you do is emboldening the weakness for him and becoming subject to his wickedness. And when you become subject to him and he gives you a sense of worth and he gives you some of my money, your taxation, so they can iPhone and reproduce themselves, you see, and get $4,000 a month for kids that don't have any father. Well, this is all very much appreciated by the people who have been broken and love him for his largesse. And so, but there's more and more people, and takes more and more money, and pretty soon we are getting poorer and poorer, and he's getting richer and richer and giving the money to all the people that are becoming poorer and poorer and dependent upon being poor, so he's sorry for them and loves them.
Or being controlled.
You gain control over everybody.
Mm-hmm. That's why I don't like those systems.
So anybody who's listening to this program, still loves this man and has respect for him, I can tell you about that person. He's the kind of person who gets up in the morning and drinks a whole gallon of stupid. That's it. That's all there is to it. And I don't want you to be angry with him. I want you to look at it that way. See? And make sure that you don't start to hate that group, because pretty soon that group of people is used to your money, and the more he gets or she gets, the more they want. You know how it is, even if you're making your own money, and money is how you feel secure, and have nice cars and things like that. So it's a progress. You can earn a living and make more money and have nicer cars, but they can't do that. They see you getting nicer and nicer cars, and they're not happy with what they got, even though they've got $4,000 a month and several kids, and then maybe small extra kids, so you get a few extra bucks. But they still want more and more and more, and they begin to hate us for having more and more, because why? They don't know how to work. They don't know where the money's coming from. They haven't got the brains to see where the money's coming is from us. And if we don't give them enough, they're going to hate us. And then one day, you see, they start to steal. They start to complain. You see, and look at themselves as being, it's sort of like odd man out. And all the president has to do in his office, because he has the office and he has the power over us, and you've given him the power. And you've given him the power because you also woke up one morning and drank a whole gallon of stupid. And you give him a second time, you got 2 gallons of stupid.
We sit with stupid juice back.
Yes? So you're suffering from that now. So you've got to be very careful now, because you're going to he's got all those guns, and so therefore you've got to be very careful that he is going to create a civil war. Now he's in charge. He wants this country. He's been put there purposely with the media. We got to do something with the media. A treacherous lot. They hate people like me. That's why you don't hear so much about me, and when you do, it's all lies. Lies are truth, and truth are lies in that upper crust atmosphere. So you've got to be very careful what you're dealing with. All liars, all cheats, all cruel, cunning, clever, manipulative. I know how to break that. If I can get enough people to listen on my radio show, I can show them, I can open them up and take away all that stuff. Because all you have to do is be angry at the depression. And it's just that you're not earning so much and you get irritated all the time when you look at your wallet. It doesn't take much to do just looking at your wallet. And your wife is also complaining that she's not having enough. She's used to you being bountiful, and you're not. And she resents you. What are you going to do? See, it multiplies, doing unto others. The secret is stand your ground without being angry. There's a time for you to fight. There's a time for fisticuffs. But what you need to do is to let them know that you have become conscious again, that you're fully aware of what's going on. And you see it's happening in America right now. Donald Trump, I'm not going to say, but he's doing a pretty good job. Not that I'm going to vote for him. I'm telling you to vote for him. I'm just saying he's not politically correct. Politically correct is cowardice. In a free country, you cannot be politically correct. You cannot be politically correct with your wife. You cannot be politically correct with anybody. You have to be able to speak what you need to say, but you have to have virtue that speaks, not anger that speaks, not appeaser that speaks. The two are dangerous. But if I don't like what you're doing and you're doing something wrong to me, I say, knock it off. And just the word knock it off. But, I said, knock it off. I've learned it with my wife. She does knock it off, but sooner or later she does, but it takes all day.
Scorpions.
I'll give you a scorpion in a minute. I'll put the cross on you, and that'll be the end of it. The cross on her won't work.
I was watching this this movie, and it's the person that has Hannibal Lecter. What's his name? The one that plays his role.
Oh, Hannibal Lecter,
Yeah.
yes.
And they were interrogating him. It was a different movie, but he was playing the villain.
Yeah.
And he was sitting there, and they left him alone with the interrogator. And all of a sudden, he grabbed the interrogator and put a chokehold on him. He just grabbed him there. And then he grabbed him and he says, "What did you lose?" And he's practically killing him. He goes, "What did you lose?" And he goes, "I lost my authority."
You lost your what?
He goes, "I lost my authority."
Yes.
And he goes, "No." Then he goes,
No, I didn't see that.
and he goes, then he grabbed.
Is that a movie?
It's an old
Is that a
movie.
movie?
Yeah, it was an old movie. So he grabbed him and he said, "What did you lose? You're lying."
I'm
He
not
goes-
quite sure I understand it.
He goes, he goes,
Does anybody knows what he's saying?
trying to finish it.
pardon?
Finish it.
He goes, "What else did you lose?" He goes, "I lost my freedom." And he goes, "No, if you don't tell me, I'm going to kill you." And he goes, "I lost the illusion."
I'm not quite sure, Father. Can anybody explain that?
It was all in his head, Roy.
Well, I know that, but I didn't see the
There's
point.
a movie that he lost
in a
three
movie.
things.
Huh?
He lost, it was in a movie. You forgot the name of the movie?
Pardon?
You forgot the name of the movie?
Yeah, I can't hear that one.
Okay, he was expressing or explaining a movie, in a movie with an actor that was a star actor of Silence of the Lamb.
Oh, him, yeah. But,
Anthony Hopkins, excuse me, Anthony Hopkins.
yeah, he was
he's
a very
good
good
actor,
actor. He,
but
he acted
scary
the
parts.
part perfectly.
He does. He does a darn good job with those evil parts. But he was explaining to us that this particular character in the movie lost his ability of, first, it was authority. Second, his freedom. And third was his illusion.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't see that. But who did he lose it to?
He lost it to himself. Because he doesn't have, he finally realized that.
Oh, he finally realized it.
Yeah.
But that is not a psychopath. The psychopath is permanent. He's permanently wicked. You cannot make him better. You have to kill him.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
You have to kill Hitler. You have to kill him.
that's okay.
What's the difference, like socio and psycho? Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, sociopath.
Psycho and socio.
Of course, psychiatry doesn't understand this. The sociopath is more lovable than God. He knows how to seduce you perfectly and make you take everything you've got and walk away and leave you stuck down a hole somewhere. Yeah. See, and you never catch him. You never catch the sociopath. He's so good. So if he murders somebody, and he goes to court, he will speak for himself and say to the jury, "Forgive me. He murdered his mother and father." He says, "Please don't judge me. I'm an orphan."
He excuses everything.
you see that?
He believes his own lies.
That's right.
Oh my
I'm just
gosh.
trying to make something up to make
Because
the
a doctor
point.
told me one time.
And
he
they
goes,
believe, you have enough power to make the audience, the jury, believe it. I just made it up, but I made the point. That's how powerful they are. He's so believable,
'Cause
and
the
you
doctor-
feel sorry for him.
Yeah. A doctor told me, you are attracted to sociopaths. I said, what?
Well, you
How do you get away from
you
that?
have sociopathic people, but they're
That's pretty
duplicates.
scary.
No, you have sociopathic people who are imitations. They have the same proclivity, but they're not. They can be freed from it. That's called sin. So that's the nice part, the nicer part of evil, because you look like a nice person. You want to do the best you can. So you've become a sociopath, but you're still doing wrong. You're deceiving people and things like that. And on the face, you can't be caught. Everybody still likes you. Everybody forgives you anyway. You start to cry, and you don't cry at all. You just make
It's
them
like
feel.
a baby. They get their way
Yeah,
and then they start
that's right.
crying.
Yes.
The
And
guilt
so-
trip,
And then
too.
the psychopath, again, is not really, the average person is not a psychopath, but he's an imitation of it. He is the extension of it. He's got that nature in him, but you can cure him. The psychopath cannot be cured. You got to kill him. Otherwise, they eat your liver.
Mm-hmm.
So the Nazis were, you have to really hang them and kill them. You just can't release them.
Yeah. Is
But
that
they
just
are
something
that
they're
way.
born with, or is it something that environmental?
Pardon?
A psychopath, is that just a DNA?
I don't know what it is,
It's
but
freaky.
there are people come into the world who are evil all the way through. Now, it could have happened when they were young, but once it's there, it's there. But each one of you having a sociopathic, psychopathic aspects, even though you're not psychopaths and sociopaths. You have some of the behavior of it, and not to the end of life. You're redeemable. Those two are not redeemable.
Like the scripture talks about the Pharaoh being I think it says.
Yeah, the
Pharaoh
was a sociopath.
Right.
And very often sociopaths are so powerful Psychopaths are powerful, and that's how they get to the top. They have confidence in their wickedness. No shame. No mercy. But the one pretends to be merciful. The sociopath will always forgive you. And so he makes your sin kosher. See that?
I got it.
See?
I know what you're saying.
And then you love him for it. You do anything for him.
Can I just share one thing with Tom? Just as I'm sitting here and realizing myself, your wife has confessed that she has some of the same things, obviously, that I can see about myself. So just maybe something to help you is when she's doing whatever she's doing to you, if you could be looking at her and knowing that she's truly begging.
Who are you talking to?
This gentleman right here. She's truly just begging for you not to be the one to take the bite of the apple and just say, put it down. No matter what her situation is, if you can just be strong enough to know to stop her, whatever she's doing.
She needs to be stopped. And she needs a man to do it, because the first man failed. And then because of that, it became a pandemic through one man, sin, and death through sin spread the human race. So every man born of woman is weak for the women. So they have sex with their mother, basically. That's what it boils down to. And the women feel dirty. But if she can separate from the woman and be a man of God, then that's different. He's the husband, and he loves God, and God loves him, but he's not the extension of his wife. He tackles the extension that's coming through her and puts it to rest. And you're going to have a bloody good fight. Yes. It's not going to be easy. But it has to be done, and you have to stay married until you get the hang of it. 64 years, she still hasn't got it. But I'll be there till she gets it. And if she doesn't, she drops dead, and I haven't lost anything. If she gets better, I have a wife. And if she doesn't, I'm okay too. It works for me both ways. I just get stronger. Yeah. More endurance. More endurance. When you have sin, it multiplies. But so does virtue. You see? So the things get worse, but people become better. Because the stress is like, the stress you have is like, to make it simple, you have a surfboard and you can't stand on it. I can't stand on the surfboard, I'll fall down in the ocean. But if I practice for a year or so, I could slide down a 50-foot wave and have fun. So when I can have fun with bad people, that's like sliding down a 50-foot wave. It's a big deal. I can do this. You can't do this. You can't slide down my 50-foot wave.
And the difference is you're going to deal with her one way or the other, unless you leave her. But if you can deal with her to the best of your ability, there'll be an end. And if you don't deal with her with the best of your ability, it'll just go on forever.
What you're saying, you have to overcome that niceness that is really weakness. And women know it. Women know it, and they will take advantage of it, and they cannot stop. And they will hate you for it, and they cannot stop.
This conversation was listening to the gals talk, and the strong-willed ladies, and controlling, which I understand we all are more or less, is to feel that anxiety listening to them talk or talking at you, that anger and that fear still looking to mother. You see how much other guys can relate to it right now, what's just happening right
See,
here.
I'm talking to him, and he's taking it in.
Right.
And it's ripping him up inside a
Right.
little bit.
And understand that I could not stand up to her. I couldn't stand up to these ladies or you or nobody. It was a fake. It was just like puff up or run, fight or flee. But the faith, the grace of Jesus and the power of the truth of God to come in and through. Of myself, I could not deal with tyrants. And I would feel sorry for the poor guy that was really whippering me around, messing with me. And these words, it helped me with joy. He gave me the knowledge. But the understanding, the change in my heart and my soul is with the Spirit of Jesus and
Knowledge
God.
doesn't work.
No, it
can
led me
speak
to
it, you can
that.
speak it, but living it is a direct communication to Him.
So it's about a connection, improve that connection through Jesus, and know what He was really like, not what I thought it was or taught it was. Who are you, what you're really about, and what you're about.
See, I never went
And there was a change.
to school to learn religion and to become a preacher. I'm not really a preacher. I don't want to be a preacher. I just want to be him. He never went to school, but he knew everything he needs to know. And I want you to know that it's in you. As long as you're not angry, you'll know what you need to know without why you're knowing it. Everything will go right. And even when things go wrong, you become more righter because you learn how to deal with it. The more you deal with it, the more God loves you. The more loves you, the stronger you become. The stronger you become, the bigger the trials and tribulations. But doesn't seem to be big to you. They get so big, they want to put a gun to your head and shoot you. You say, okay. Or you can't do that. Put that thing away. All of a sudden, he puts it away. See it? Either way, he's finished. You're dead. You've finished, but you go to heaven.
I would like to say to all of you gentlemen in here,
What?
I want to say something to the men. I hope to God that you find freedom. And I'm sorry to be a part of such horrible wickedness in the world. And I'm very grateful to God. I'm sure I'll still be wicked for a while, but I'm very grateful. And if I can free you by just being sorry for my own self, I wish that for all of you.
It's sweet. It will happen to you, don't worry.
I know.
You're going to be fine.
I know.
Thank you for saying that.
You're going to get prettier and prettier. I'm going to be coming after you.
Thank you for saying that so much. I appreciate her honesty because I'm the younger.
I love the people I can cure.
Amen. Hallelujah. I don't know if this is true, but sometimes I could feel the older sibling. And I'm going to ask you, were you like the older sister? Or were you?
The only sister.
Or the
I have
only?
an older brother and a younger brother.
Okay. Because I'm the youngest of four, and they've got two younger brothers. But there's a part of me where I'm fearful of controlling women. I get kind of intimidated. Not as much now. I'm getting stronger. But I was the baby sister. I had an older sister. She was like the mother to me, and my two older brothers were like the fathers to me. I mean, does that make sense?
Somewhat. I don't know the
So
whole
I could
story.
feel for some of these men in here. I was the younger sister, and my boyfriends or friends, girlfriends, everybody would say, "Why are they so controlling, Tina, over you?" Well, that's all I knew.
But
That's how I was taught.
You talk too fast.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, you do.
So-
I'm slow inside the head.
I need to slow down. So what I'm saying to everyone is it's not just only men that we feel intimidated by
Yes.
controlling women, because I'm a younger sibling, I'm a younger sister, and I've had boyfriends or people in my life, friends, say, "Why is your family so controlling over you, Tina? You actually have more power than they have." Is it jealousy? Is it resentment? Is it anger because I'm the baby sister? Or is it just something naturally that happens because I'm the baby, they worry about me? Why is everybody worried all the time? I mean, but that's just a natural instinct, right?
Yeah, the thing is, I'm not sure that's natural instinct if people are sorry for you all the time.
But I'm tired of that.
That's not good.
Exactly.
But you resent it because it takes It makes you
Thank
feel.
you.
You know, if you're walking down the street and a hobo comes up to you, and he's kind of disheveled and his clothes are dirty, and he says, "Can you spare me a dime, a dollar?" There's a little pressure there, and so therefore you don't know what to do, so you give him a dollar, and he walks away and gets drunk with it. You see, because you don't want to be a spoiled sister, because it's not healthy, and that's why they will love you and care for you, but it's not a good thing.
I was kind of spoiled.
It doesn't free you. It makes you obligated.
It was enabling. It was
Enabling you.
crippling.
So you don't. But the point is, whether they're cruel or enabling, which is not good, and they don't know it. They're doing the best they know how, and when they're cruel, they don't know they're cruel. They're not aware of it. You have to make them aware of it, both ends, but both by becoming independent. Say thank you for your kindness and go about your business. And say, no, thank you, I don't need your money, thank you. See?
Yeah.
That's all you need today. Oh, no, I'm just fighting. But you don't have to be angry if they insist. See? No, it's very nice. And it is nice and not so nice. But you have to stop them from giving you.
I became extremely codependent.
Otherwise, you become resentful. You take it, and then then the minute you start to you feel the pull and you take it, you've been taken in.
Yes.
Anyway, I got to say goodbye.
I just wanted to say something.
Oh, you going to say something? Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm obviously pretty new to marriage, but something that I've realized with the man-woman relationship, for a woman, when you really want the man to correct you and they're just not doing the right thing, it's not because they need to work on doing the right thing with you. I really feel like it's because they don't have their relationship with God right, and when they don't have that foundation, they're not going to treat you the way you're wanting them to treat you. So they really have to work on having that confidence with God, because that's where it comes from. And when I see people that don't have that confidence, that's where it comes from. And so you'll never be able to deal with your wife right if you don't have that true confidence with the Lord. And so maybe you can't help him deal with you right, but maybe you can help him find God better and really help that relationship grow. And then in that, he'll be able to deal with you better.
You know, that's a nice thing. What she's saying is, let me say what she's nice. So she's just got married. So she's looking at her husband, and maybe he's too strong, maybe he's too weak, but she understands it. And in her understanding, she shines. And as she shines and is not disturbed either way, the husband begins to see his own weakness and his own mad anger. See? So the woman can do this. She's right on the money.
She really is.
She said it right. Did I repeat it as you meant it? Yes, that's very true. A woman is able, as long as you come here, you learn, you discover things from me, you see it's correct, you get corrected inside, you go home, and your husband it starts to be mean to you, cool. See, he wants to be seductive, not tonight, Joe, right? You just go into that corner, I'm sorry, but what's the matter? And he gets angry, and you stay calm. He'll go through nice and then not nice, and nice and not nice. And you stand your ground, and all of a sudden, he'll see himself. And he sees the beauty in the woman. So, forgive me, ladies, for not having said that, but it's principally a man's problem. You see, but that doesn't mean to say that a woman can't have God and be such a noble, gracious lady that a man who has been spoiled in some way gets to see it sooner or later. It's all part of marriage. It works both. It's much nicer if it works the other way, because then it becomes, God, Jesus, man, woman, child, the right order. Not woman, child, man. God's left out. See, it comes from the Eve. It comes up from the ground, from the smallest to the bigger than the biggest, and mom, and then she influences him. And he doesn't know what to do. And all the kids are wishing that dad would stand up for himself, and he doesn't. To save them. They know it. And so look, let's have another fun seminar next Sunday morning, shall we? And please support the program. This is how preachers should be in their pulpits. Just ordinary people, not having an education with the parchments and all the paraphernalia you have and all the wearing the collars and God knows what. Just be an ordinary person with the light inside you, enjoying yourself with people like yourself. Thank you very much for supporting my radio program.